Hi everyone, welcome back. My name's Tisdale. I'm a part-time reseller on places like eBay and Poshmark. And today's video, I just wanted to go over some things that I've decided to start implementing in my business and some changes that I plan on doing. I wanted to do this video not only to kind of keep myself accountable and force myself to really lay out some rules for myself, but also hopefully inspire you all to look at your own business and kind of really analyze it and see if there's some things that you could tweak to help improve your sales. So this video is going to be broken out into two different sections, one being source and the other being tasks. So sourcing, I'm going to go over kind of the categories and types of items and parameters that I've given myself as far as sourcing items in the future. And then the next is tasks. So this includes daily, weekly, or monthly tasks, just general things that I'll be doing to try to improve my sales going forward. So without further ado, let's get started. So if you've been following me, you know that I mainly sell clothing and shoes and accessories, just in general clothing merchandise. And this is something that's always kind of come natural to me. So it's what I cling to the most because it's easy and fast for me to do. However, I wanted to set some parameters as far as what I should be picking up in the future in order to hit the goals that I have for myself. So my goal with clothing is first looking at the categories. I kind of looked at my business and looked at my history to see what types of categories or types of items in the clothing section sell the best for me. So I wanted to look at both ASP and my sell-through rate for the categories. So for me, shoes, dresses, and jumpsuits had the highest ASP out of all the categories in the clothing area. Again, this is kind of keeping out any kind of home goods or hard goods section. I'll get to that later. So again, for me, that's shoes, dresses, and jumpsuits, and in that order, that have that highest ASP for me. And then next I wanted to look at my sell-through rate. And the way that I look at that is the number of units that I have bought or the quantity that I have bought and sold. And I'll pop up the formula that I use for my sell-through rate right here. And the top three categories for me was, again, shoes, jumpsuits, and pants. So we're seeing a bit of a common theme between especially shoes and jumpsuits, which is actually surprising to me because these are not two categories that I really focus on. I generally will look at the dresses and pants, which the pants was in the sell-through, which that's great. But it was just surprising to me because shoes, I'll pick them up and, especially if I come across them and they're in great condition. I don't love cleaning shoes, but I will if it's worth a high price point. And then jumpsuits, I don't feel like I come across very often, but I'm also not really like seeking them out. So what does this mean for me? For me, this means that I'm going to start paying attention to the shoe area first and foremost. It kind of hits all of the questions I had as far as ASP, sell-through rate, and even profit. So I'll definitely be tackling that area in the thrift stores first and foremost. And I guess I should mention most of this is related more into the thrift store. I will also continue to go through the dress area as you saw in the ASP and the sell-through rating or rates for me. Jumpsuits are on both of them, and jumpsuits and most of my thrift stores are in the dress area, and dresses were also on the high ASP category. So I'll continue to go through the dress area and just try to really pay attention to the jumpsuits that I come across. And then lastly, I'll also continue to look at pants. It wasn't on the high ASP, but it was high on the sell-through. So that's something that I'm going to continue to pick up. For me, not only is it a high sell-through, but pants for me are one of the easiest things in terms of clothing to take pictures of and to get listed. So I highly advise you to look at your own sales, and even if it's not in clothing, even if you only pick up hard goods, make sure you're kind of categorizing them. Maybe it's just, if it's hard goods, it's home or it's holiday or maybe certain brands, and really look at those to see what's selling the best for you and the sell-through rate. I know sell-through rate can be kind of tricky because you really want to look at it closely, because even if you're selling, a ton of jeans Well, if you're only picking up jeans, of course you're going to be selling a ton of jeans. So you really want to look at the percentage of how much you're picking up versus how much you're selling. And also, I know some people like to run their business either, low cost items with a high sell-through rate or high-end items that they're selling at a much slower sell-through rate. I like to kind of have a balance and a constant flow of each. The next topic I wanted to talk about, which has to do with the parameters that I've kind of set for myself in terms of what I plan on picking up with clothing specifically in the future. So when I pick up these clothing items, again, clothing specifically, I want a minimum of a $45 ASP or planned ASP. That could always fluctuate, but what I plan on listing it and think it will actually sell for is an ASP of $45 and about an 8 to 10% sell-through rate. And of course, if it sells faster or if it's a higher price point or higher ASP, that is perfectly fine as well. But this is kind of the minimum that I'm giving myself. However, like I mentioned before, I also want to incorporate higher sell-through rate items into my store, not only just higher ASP. So for those items, I don't want to pick up any clothing items that I can't list for $20 or more. So if they are $20 or more and $45 or less, they need to have a sell-through rate of at least 20%. And if you guys are wondering what I look at as far as sell-through rating on items, eBay does have Terapeak, which sometimes can be helpful, but it doesn't always have the sell-through percentage. So the way that I usually look at this on eBay and on Poshmark, but eBay it's a lot easier, is when I search the item, I look at how many items have sold versus how many are listed, and I do that same sell-through rate calculation to determine that. So the last thing that I want to talk about in terms of sourcing is touch on hard goods a little bit. With hard goods, I'm not putting such a stringent parameters on myself because it's a category, I guess a large category that I'm still learning. So I don't want to limit myself. So I've only really given myself one rule, and that is just if it is under $5, I'm going to try it, especially at yard sales. At thrift stores, I have the ability to slow down a little bit and really do some research and look things up. But if it's at a yard sale, if it's less than $5 and I'm in a hurry and I'm not really looking up comps, if it's less than $5, I'm going to try it if I feel a strong inclination towards it. It's a way that I believe I'm kind of it may be a dud, but I'm learning, so I'm sort of paying to learn. And that's just how I want to treat this going forward. It may not work for you, it may be a bad idea for you, so feel free to kind of give yourself parameters around that. Or maybe you're just now getting into clothing and you kind of want to do the same thing. Yard sales are a great place to source really cheap clothing, so maybe you can take that tactic for that specific category. So moving on to the second part of the video that I want to talk about, which has to do with the tasks or daily things that I'm doing to try to increase my sales. And the things I'm going to go over are kind of in addition to things that I'm already doing. So right now I am already doing markdowns, and I actually do those daily. I make sure that items are not more than 90 days old, specifically on eBay. I haven't really decided if I want to do that with Poshmark. It's a little bit more difficult. It's not as easy to take down and relist things as it is on eBay, so I haven't really ironed that out yet. I do relist things on there once a week or so, but definitely not as on key as I do with eBay. So for the markdowns on eBay, I created my own spreadsheet that I pull in data from eBay, the eBay reports that they already give you. I'll put the list of the reports that I use, and I kind of do a lot of VLOOKUPs to create that. It's a little bit complicated. I do it at the first of the month, but it really helps me to see how things are performing and if I should increase the price, increase the promoted listings. So I kind of already have that nailed down, so that will be something that I continue to do. The next thing that I want to say I'll continue to do, but apparently I've not been doing it for the past 2 months if you've seen my recent video or Instagram post, but it's sending offers to likers on eBay. I already have that set up automatically for Poshmark, but on eBay I hadn't been doing it, so it's definitely going to be something that I'm paying attention to, and sending offers 1 to 2 times a day. and I really think that's going to help increase my sales. So what I plan on doing for the offers to likers is usually about a 10% additional discount. I already run a 10% off sale every day for every item in my store. So generally I'll offer an additional 10% off when I do offers to likers, with the exception if obviously it's an older item or an item I'm trying to push out. So nothing too specific about how much I want to offer. It just depends on the item. Like I mentioned earlier, I already do run a kind of continuous sale on eBay that's 10% off all my items. I do click the button that excludes new items. So if an item I'm just now listing, I will not have an offer on that until the beginning of the next month, just because I like to give it the opportunity to sell at full price or with no offers for, a couple weeks. In addition to that, I do also run a sale that I create at the beginning of each month that is usually between 25 to 50% off additional items that have just been sitting for a long time, and I do use my markdown spreadsheet to help with that as well. In addition to those sales, I want to also start doing a sale maybe for like 3 days around the 15th and then 3 days around the 1st. That's a little bit larger of a discount overall versus just the 10%, just because that's usually when people are getting paid, right, is the 1st and the 15th. So I want to see if I can take advantage of those days and see if that will help increase my sales around those times. So the last thing that I want to do in terms of the task kind of goals is listing 5 items a day. Currently, I have not been really listing anything. In the past, I was trying to hit the 5 items a day goal, and after doing some calculations, I want to grow my store. So I'm at about a little over 700 items right now, and to be at the sales goal that I would like to be at, I need to have between like 13 and 1500 items. So that's quite a growth, but I think I can do that steadily if I'm listing at least 5 items a day. Again, I'm a part-time reseller. If I was full-time, I may be pushing that a little bit more, but I need to be honest and true with the time that I have. And right now, I feel like I can stick to and dedicate at least 5 items new listed every day. And if you're wondering, how many items you should have in your store to kind of reach your goal numbers, I will go ahead and drop Sarah Styles' information in the description below. She already has a spreadsheet that helps you calculate this, so you don't have to do it yourself. I believe I feel like it was like $5. Don't quote me on that. But I think she calls it the golden rule formula, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure most of you know who Sarah Styles is, but I will again drop her information below if you want to look into getting that spreadsheet or that formula. It's just really helpful, and she already has it built out. So if you're not sure how to do those numbers yourself, she does have that tool available for you. So those are kind of the steps between sourcing and tasks that I will start implementing and hopefully start increasing my sales. I'm really excited to start implementing them and kind of collecting the data to see where things go. In addition to that, I am also going to be ironing out my processes. Right now, I'm kind of in the process of timing myself on certain things to see where I can save time and what I can do differently to make my time more efficient, especially being part-time. The time that I have to give my business is very limited. And that, that's how I figured out pants was the fastest item in terms of clothing for me to take pictures, measurements, and list. And so that's been helpful as far as my processes. I don't have all those ironed out, but it's definitely coming along. And I think, again, it's going to give me more time to, do those listings and these other things that I'm trying to implement. So I'm very excited to see where this takes me going forward. So I hope this video has been helpful and kind of just a reminder to look at your business and what items are selling the best for you. I know sometimes we can get kind of, just focused on finding a new item and picking it up, and it looks exciting, but it doesn't really make sense for our business. So I really implore you to look at your business and what makes the most sense for you, what types of items are available to you in your area, what you list the fastest, what's your highest ASP, your highest sell-through, and look at those things that can really help make your business much more efficient. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, I hope this was helpful for you. Let me know if there's some things that you're looking at implementing in your business or things that you've done in the past that have really helped you out. I am always open to learning from you guys. But other than that, I'll see you next time.